This is the Grow My Clinic podcast by Clinic Mastery, where we help you deliver amazing client experiences to grow your clinic.
Well, welcome back to another episode of the Grow My Clinic podcast. My name is Jack O'Brien. I'm excited to be with you for part 2 of our core values podcast. And in this episode, we are going to go into detail on what process we used to identify Clinic Mastery core values. We're going to go deep and wide on how we did this so that you can do it as well. So we're going to give you a bit of a snapshot in this podcast. There is a fantastic article over on our blog. It is clinicmastery.com/how we created the Clinic Mastery core values. We'll link that up in the show notes. If you head to our website, you'll be able to find it really easily. This is a bit of a snapshot. Our entire 10-step process with workshop questions, with handouts is inside our business academy. And we go through this with members step by step, one-on-one. We coach you through each element of this process so that you don't only identify your core values, but are able to amplify them and infuse them through every part of your organization. The process of having your core values identified starts by having each member of your team, in our case, we're going to use our Clinic Mastery example as the use case here. The process starts by having each of the directors of your organization reflect on your personal values and make a list. So the lesson there, the first lesson, is to not start with your team, start with yourself and your business partners if you have them. Personally reflect on your own values. Then, the Clinic Mastery team, we had a few coffees, maybe a beer or a wine at our director's retreat in Barwon Heads, south of Geelong in Victoria, and we asked a couple of key questions that we used to define the 4 Clinic Mastery core values. These 4 questions that helped us identify our core values were, number 1, what are some core sayings or common phrases that you've used in your work to reflect how we go about our business? And that is, in essence, where we found the make it happen phrase or be outcome focused. That is where that question inspired those phrases. What are some core sayings or common phrases that we've used in our work to reflect how we go about our business? Question 2, how do we want our clients to describe their experience with us? For example, we get results. Hence, that's where the outcome focus came from. It resonates so often back to us from our clients that we get results and that we are outcome focused. It's not woo-woo, it's not rah-rah, it's outcomes. So that's the second question. How do we want our clients to describe their experience with us? And you could ask the same question in your clinic. Question number 3, when we are at our best as a team and as practitioners, what are we doing to get into that state? I'll say it again. When we're at our best as a team and as individuals, what are we doing to get into that state? For example, we're enjoying the process, we're having the fun, we're bringing the energy, we're excited, we're pumped up. And that's where bring the energy came from for us as a core value. Think about that in your own clinic. When you're at your best as a team, what are you doing to get you there? And question 4, out of these 4 core questions, this is number 4. What expectations do we have for our communication internally and externally? For example, at Clinic Mastery, we wanted to be authentic and genuine to our true selves. Hence, keep it real. That is an expectation that we have for our communication. We expect honest, transparent, critical, constructive communication, both internally and externally. And therefore, that question helped us to identify our core values. So those questions in summary, 4 questions. Number 1, What are some core sayings or common phrases? Question 2, how do we want our clients to describe their experience with us? Question 3, when we are at our best as a team and as individuals, what are we doing to get us to that state? And question 4, what expectations do we have for ourselves, for our communication internally and externally? So then, from here, here's what happens after you've asked those questions. You want to make a big list on butcher's paper or a whiteboard, and then we debated the responses until we had a core value that best represented who we are and who we're committed to becoming. So butcher's paper and a whiteboard. Then we used a lot of the adjectives and descriptors that came out through the process as subtext or explanation of what we meant for each value. So we take some whiteboard or some butcher's paper, debate all the responses, and refine that down until there was a core value that best represented who we are and who we're committed to becoming. Then we used many of the adjectives and descriptors that came out through the process as subtext or explanations. Then it comes down to how you practice your values. So as we transition into this next segment, if core values simply become posters on the wall and arbitrary pages in a folder somewhere, they're useless. We need to be able to practice our core values so that our actions speak louder than our words. Because it's an important distinction to remember that values are simply the things that you and I, or we already do. You just need to identify them through a reflection process. And then once they've been identified, refined, crystallized, then you need to amplify them. And you amplify your core values by deliberately infusing them into your decision-making and action-taking. Let me say that again. You amplify core values by deliberately infusing them into your decision-making and action-taking. Because the reality is that we're not perfect. Our actions don't always reflect our words, but we're always working to better live out and follow through on your values. So let's get really specific. Let's get practical. Currently, here are a few ways that we use our core values inside Clinic Mastery on a day-to-day basis. Number 1, celebrate team and client wins inside Slack each and every week. That's one of the things that we do. We celebrate our team and our client wins through our Slack channels each week. We do this in Clinic Mastery. We also do this in Terrace Physio, and I can speak from example. In my clinic, this happens on an almost daily basis. Number 2, this is how we use our core values. Number 2, make decisions on who joins the Clinic Mastery team based on how well they reflect and align with these core values. Number 3, one of the ways that we use our core values is that they must guide if and when we execute new ideas and strategies and how quickly we do that. The reality is that there is no shortage of ideas in this world, but they need to align with our core values, and those values will guide how quickly we execute and implement. As an example, just this last month, we had a brilliant opportunity to offer a new service that's never been offered before in our industry. But the reality is that at this point in time, it doesn't quite fit our core values. It doesn't prioritize in exactly the way that we would like it to. And so for now, it's parked. So we used our values as a filter for new ideas and strategies. Number 4 way that you could use your core values. Inside Clinic Mastery, at our weekly team meeting, we use these values to measure our success in how we deliver for our members, for our clients. Our core values are our KPIs. They determine whether we have succeeded or not in our own eyes. Number 5, the tone, style, and practicality of the content we publish for members and the community. That is one of the biggest ways that we use our core values to make sure that the tone, the style, the practicality of the content we publish, firstly for our members and secondly for you, the wider community, must pass through the filter of our values. And number 6, they guide our 360-degree reviews of each other. We review ourselves frequently in a 360-degree fashion, and that is done based on our core values. So there you have it. That is the specific bird's eye view of how you can identify, amplify, and practically use core values in your clinic. The reality is that core values should be the principles that govern and guide how you conduct yourself and your team inside your clinic. They are the cultural expectations of how you act as a team and how you engage with your clients and what you do in your community. Core values are the things that you do that define who you are and who you are committed to becoming as you grow. The truth is that you already have core values, but do you live them? Do you deliberately outwork them? You need to identify, then amplify the best parts of how you show up each day. And remember, your actions speak louder than your words ever will. Your actions speak louder than your words. Your core values need to reflect your actions, and you need to use your core values as the filter for your action taking and decision making. The truth is that we love leading inspired, values-driven teams. We love helping and mentoring clinic owners who are passionate about leading a values-driven clinic. We do this day in and day out. We walk people through exercises and workshops and activities and retreats to be able to infuse this in your team and hold your hand through that entire process, because we've done it tens, hundreds of times. So as a member of our business academy, we can help you go through this process so that you too could lead a clinic that is values driven, just like Clinic Mastery is and all of the other clinics inside our business academy. If you are at all interested in exploring what this means, you need some strategy, maybe you've got some questions about the business academy or just need some help in general, please reach out to me. My email is jack@clinicmastery.com. I would happily answer your questions. I would really love to hear from you. My inbox is often flooded with feedback from these podcast episodes. So please get in touch. That would mean the world to me. Thank you again for your reviews and ratings on your podcast players, for sharing this on social media. As my friend Chris Marr from the Content Marketing Academy would say, have a fantastic day. Don't forget to be awesome. And we look forward to seeing you on another episode again really soon. Bye for now.
This is the Grow My Clinic podcast by Clinic Mastery, where we help you deliver amazing client experiences to grow your clinic.